All right, let's move on to Topic Tuesday. This week's, past week's, Topic Tuesday was written by our third year med student, Adam. And so he's really hoping that you're all enjoying your beautiful autumn walks, indulging in a nice pumpkin latte decaf, getting those every now and then, here and there. All right, so as the season changes, depending on where you live, you might actually be experiencing some cooler days and nights right about now. Probably you're not in the beautiful parts of Southern California, but you're definitely doing it in the mid and the northern areas. And for patients and families living with aortic disease, making yourself aware of the different effects of colder temperature can really have on your heart and your body. It's actually going to be helpful to you when it comes to managing your expectation and avoid worrying during the winter time. So there was an article from the University of Michigan. Looks like it was called Winter and Aortic Dissection, Are You at Risk? And it really discusses the impact of winter on an aortic dissection. So let's get into this just a little bit. So Dr. Marian Hoffman shares that several centers, aortic disease centers is what I'm guessing, actually see an increase in incidence of aortic dissection during the fall winter months. So that's pretty much November through March compared to other times of the year. And this is interesting because we have taken polls within the community, and I'm kind of finding that we're seeing the same thing. So I'm thinking, and I'm not a physician nor a statistician, so I don't have the proof to back my thought, that you probably see a higher incidence of heart attack as well in the wintertime. Like any kind of cardiac event, I would think tends to happen more in the wintertime. We're pushing our bodies. There's an effect because of cold and strenuous activities. And so let's learn a little bit more. So there is this risk is heightened in patients with pre-existing aortic aneurysms, those that have a family history, as well as patients with high blood pressure or hypertension, and older patients, which would be anybody who's older than 60. One possible reason for this less consistent doctor visits happen in the winter. Of course, they will, depending on the weather. Like, not a lot of older people really want to go out when it's icy or has the potential to be icy. People don't tend to schedule their appointments around the holiday time because you've got family coming in and out, et cetera. And they're not actually that compliant when it comes to your medical or your medicine refills. Again, probably for all of those reasons I just mentioned, that could contribute to that higher incidence in aortic issues that they're finding, the higher number in dissections. But interestingly, according to an international registry of aortic dissection, which is IRAD, this trend actually exists even in countries without colder months. So that's interesting information right there. This actually led many researchers to theorize that another cause for elevated aortic dissections during this time may be from an increased rate of viral and upper respiratory infections during that flu season. And we've talked about this a couple times, and I know it gets politicized and people have their own opinions about vaccinations, and that's all for you, between you, yourself, your family, and your physician. But again, I think if people understood the mechanics of what happens to the human body when you introduce a flu or an upper respiratory infection or COVID, or really anything, like even if you introduce shingles, the work that it takes for your body to try to fight that. And what happens is there's the potential for increased heart rate and blood pressure, plus people taking the wrong over-the-counter medications that also can contribute to that. It might be helpful to consider with your physician taking a vaccine if you're able to, because what vaccines will do is not eliminate that you may get it. It will potentially lessen the adverse effects of having one of these flu-like issues. So just something to think about. But there is some data to suggest that the flu and other viruses could lead to inflammation within the heart, chambers, and vessels. So something I was just mentioning, and I'm not a physician or med student, including the aorta. So again, the inflammation could adversely affect these parts. And this can cause negative effects on the stability of the heart and the aorta, which could lead to a dissection. Just things to think about, okay? For this reason, Dr. Hoffman says she recommends all aortic disease patients to embrace and keep healthy habits around the holiday time, such as avoid tobacco products, keep up with your medication, taking them at the same time every single day, routinely go in to have your blood pressure checks, and make sure to keep up with your doctor appointments. Patients also should consider getting your annual flu shot. Okay, and it has been shown to help improve the systems and rates of serious adverse effects from the flu in patients that have heart disease or heart conditions. Depending on your condition, certain wintertime activities should also be avoided. This would include heavy lifting, snow shoveling. It's such a no-no. No, snow shoveling. Snow shoveling for a lot of people that have blood pressure issues, heart rate issues, not just aortic issues, really can become very problematic. And that's what blowers are for. And that's what young kids in your neighborhood are for like, don't we still pay them $5 or something? I don't know. A young kid loves to shovel snow and get money to go buy a game online or something. Consider that. All right. But be sure to check out next week's post, which is happening tomorrow on the 14th by Duke, who's our fourth year medical student. And he's going to really talk about what winter activities are recommended versus not recommended in patients that have aortic disease. So interesting stuff to take into consideration. We're kind of following that theme of winter, colder weather, the effects on people, when you get sick, what medications can do to us, what you should be talking to your doctor about taking. And in this case, we're getting into the flu cold season, and now we're going to move more into the activities that you should and shouldn't do during these colder months. And I'll tell you, I do not miss snow shoveling at all. Like, not even one bit. I love using the snowblower. I think it's fun. Don't get in my way because you may get blown with snow. I'm going to actually probably use it tomorrow and get all these leaves off the deck. To me, that's fun. Like, that's not a problem. Shoveling snow. I'm happy I never need to do it again. So,
Right on.
that's your topic Tuesday.
Joel Amos, the movie mensch, jumped into chat to say hello.
Movie mensch. How's it going? Good to hear from him.
I know, right? He says,
so
is
good.
Okay. Still recovering, was back in hospital last week, found pseudoaneurysm and infection in surgical site. But he's back home and boom, catches COVID.
Oh, no.
I know, right?
Oh my God. And so the other thing is like after you have major surgery, it's not like you can go run and get a COVID booster. They won't let you do that. You've got to wait a period of time before you can get that booster. And so it just happens to him probably in his time span waiting. Well, oh my gosh, my friend, I'm so
I know. I asked him if he had any of the troubling, smell or taste issues. He says, totally caught it in hospital. Would love to talk about my latest journey sometime if we would like. And then he says, no, just a fever, chills, aches, and cough. So it's close
pretty
to
much
flu-like, I'm hoping.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I am. All of the doctors that, that I come in contact with and talk to are saying that what they are seeing is this particular variant, H2 I don't know what it's called, is producing more flu-like symptoms that actually people getting the flu are feeling worse than those that are getting COVID right now. So what a flip and turn in events. And I can only assume it's because people are like, I'm not getting the flu shot and the COVID shot and blah, 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 and whatever else is going on. And they're just feeling a little worse. So yeah, sorry. So sorry. Oh God. And I hope that you're not going to need anything additional with a pseudoaneurysm. I know sometimes that might lead a physician to need to go back in and do some surgery. So I hope that's not going to happen to you. So stressful. Thanks for stopping in, Joel. It's always good to hear from you.